Hello, thank you for watching once again. It's connecting the dots. It's actually midnight, 4:22, 2022. Thank you for watching. Um, this was an unintended live. I had an episode up earlier and the episode was taken down. Um, and the reason it was taken down was because Mike Tyson was in an altercation on a JetBlue flight earlier today. And I had video that showed that it's not how it's being played in some areas of mainstream media. That Mike Tyson uh, went went off and caused violence on a plane. He actually um, he actually took an awful lot of verbal abuse before he finally did snap. And in my opinion, the guy that instigated the thing. Um, should have known what he was possibly getting into. So, but nonetheless, I'm afraid Mike Tyson's the one that's going to end up paying the penalty for that. So that's why the video is taken down. It will be back up. The rest of the video will be on there. It'll be available probably within 24 hours, and um, just that portion, the Mike Tyson portion, will be cut out. And again, former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson seems to have joined the ranks of unruly airline passengers. That's how it's being portrayed. Okay. And so I went ahead and showed the video, and I showed the episode one time. Several people saw it live, and it's been taken down since then. But everything that's on this is new. Okay. Just about everything on here is new, so that you can go back and watch the other episode when it comes up. It is again the 22nd day. It's officially Friday here in the United States of America. It's officially Friday in the Holy Land as well. It's officially Friday in Ukraine and in Russia. Why do I bring all that up? Hamas calls for Palestinian mobilization ahead of Friday's Al-Aqsa prayers. If you watch the show, thank you, of course. You know that we've been following what's going on in the Holy Land, and I may be back on live a little bit yet later on tonight, because who knows what's going to happen at that mosque. And again, the significance of the mosque is it sits on the site of the Temple Mound, where the Jewish temple, the first two Jewish temples were. And there have been many that want to see that the dome and the mosque removed, which if that were to happen, I don't even want to think about it. Let's hope it doesn't happen. All right. The tensions are high there. And it not only to me, but other people I've been talking with, people that followed these things, everybody just feels like there's something different this time. And Israel and Israeli forces are treating it a little bit different this time. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And if anything drastic happens, we'll be popping back up. I saw this, and I just, I don't know. The United States, many states in the United States, it's open carry. That means that you don't have to have a permit to carry a sidearm. Indiana is going to become that way very soon. It doesn't mean you can do something like this necessarily. And this just shows you that This guy's probably not very good shot, is probably what it shows you, because he's got what, 7 guns on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you get down to the Derringer and people are close enough that you're going to do something with a Derringer. Anyway, that's just ludicrous stuff. And the Republican Party is about to split itself apart. Why, you ask? This is from the leader of the House of Representatives, the minority leader of the Republican Party in the House of Representatives, Congressman Kevin McCarthy. New York Times reporting on me is totally false and wrong. It comes as no surprise that the corporate media is obsessed with doing everything it can to further a liberal agenda. Blah, 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 blah. What is he talking about? Why is he trying to get out? What's he trying to get out in front of? This.
Here it is. Liz, you on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, Kevin. I guess there's a question. When we were talking about the 25th Amendment resolution, and you asked if what happens if he gets there after he's gone, is there any chance, are you hearing that he might resign? Is there any reason to think that might happen?
I've had a few discussions. My gut tells me no. I'm seriously thinking of having a conversation with him tonight. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days. From what I know of him, I mean, you guys don't know him too. Do you think he'd ever back away? But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to call him. This is what I think. Nothing will pass the House. I think there's a chance he'll pass the Senate even when he's gone. And I think there's a lot of different ramifications for that. Now, I haven't had a discussion with the Dems that if he did resign, would it not happen? Now, this is one personal fear I have. I do not want to get into any conversations about Pence partying. The only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation we should resign. That would be my take, but I don't think he would take it. But I don't know.
Okay, let's play that one more time.
Session I would
just so we get it from the start here. Again,
here it is.
We just showed you the speaker trying to the minority speaker trying to get minority leader trying to get out in front of what is on tape. It's obviously his voice, and it's pretty obvious that Liz Cheney's probably the one that made the recording. And soon after this, Liz Cheney lost her leadership position in the Republican Party, and Trump came after her hard. When all she did was say the same thing that McCarthy said to her a week before. Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger agrees with everything that I'm saying, by the way, and many other congressmen and a few senators are going to start coming out and saying, we had no idea all this was going on. And the Trump people are really going to be upset with these now, everyone's now a rhino, Republican in name only. So one of two things to happen. Either the entire Republican Party becomes fascist, and they all bow down to Trump, or this splits and you find out if there's hope for a future Republican Party, or if it's been so decimated that after all the leaders go to jail, who's going to be left?
Here it is.
Liz, your phone?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, Kevin. I guess first a question. When we were talking about the 25th Amendment resolution, and you asked if you know what happens if it gets there after he's gone. Is there any chance? Are you hearing that he might resign? Is there any reason to think that might happen?
The 25th Amendment is that the president of the United States is no longer fit to hold the position and can be removed from office, and the vice president sworn in. This is what they're talking about. You know, are we going to do a 25th Amendment resolution? So when you hear coming up that it'll pass the House, you know, we haven't talked to the Dems yet, but the Dems will be behind it. Okay.
I've had some few discussions. My gut tells me no. I'm seriously thinking of having a conversation with him tonight. I haven't talked to him in a couple days. From what I know of him, I mean, you guys don't know him too. Do you think he'd ever back away? But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to call him. This is what I think. No, it'll pass the House. I think there's a chance it'll pass the Senate even when he's gone.
So they were going to do it even if he had resigned.
And I think there's a lot of different ramifications for that. Now, I haven't had a discussion with the Dems that if he did resign, would it not happen?
See? What's all this mean? Well, if he had resigned and they went ahead with the 25th Amendment and found him unsuitable, he couldn't run for office anymore. They could have stopped Trump 4 days after this. Instead, Trump's gone on and gone on and gone on, and he's suckering a whole bunch of people into giving him money for a campaign that is not really there. That money's going to him. There's no campaign. The con job continues, and sadly, too many people are still, you know, there's not many, relatively speaking, but too many.
Now, this is one personal fear I have. I do not want to get into any conversations about Pence pardoning. I mean, the only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation we should do that.
Okay, the only thing he says to Pence, the only thing he says he's going to say to Pence is that the resolution will pass, and it would be my recommendation you should resign, that Pence should resign too.
That would be my take, but I don't think he would take it, but I don't know.
The discussion I would...
So, something to think about. If you're a regular Fox viewer, first of all, thank you for watching. If you only look one place, you only see one thing, and you're not going to be seeing that more than likely. Okay. Again, just something to think about, as is this. All the police officers, all the militia that have the Punisher sticker or the Punisher tattoo. Disney owns Marvel. Just saying. This is from China. I've been hitting China, not hitting them, but hitting in the fact that we need to pay attention to China. And there's a lot of military propaganda more so than usual. I mean, they do a lot of military propaganda there, but it's more, as you can see, it's more geared towards specifics and not specifics that China are currently involved with. And it points something out that, we've talked about on here before. One, it depends on which side you're looking. One side's terrorist is another side's freedom fighter. Okay. And it kind of comes down to the fact that if people within a country are being oppressed by their own country, we're not going to pay as much attention to it, if we pay attention to it at all, compared to when a country comes into another country and tries to oppress that country. Then it becomes a fight for freedom, for democracy, for equality, for all the things that we talk about. And the same standards are not applied everywhere. Just something to think about. I mentioned this in the episode that got taken down, but it needs to be mentioned again. Iran threatens to attack all of Israel's nuclear weapons storage sites if war erupts. And the Iranians are on alert, preparing for a war. They claim they have photos of all nuclear locations. The U.S. Embassy in Israel issued security alerts for Americans, warning security environment can change quickly, and that employees and family members have been banned from entering Jerusalem only after dark because of the possible threat of rocket or mortar attacks, which was highlighted. If mortars and rockets start falling around the old city, again, the mosque is there, the Western Wall is there, so many churches are there, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is there. Just the concept, the idea is, is almost unthinkable, because if you're a person that has roots in the Bible, the significance of Jerusalem and the significance of conflict in the Holy Land. And I don't have the report up here, but Israeli radar also had reported that when Israel strikes Iran's nuclear sites, that it won't just be militarily. There'll be other resources utilized, which everybody interpreted to mean some kind of cyber attack on Iran from Israel as well. So we're going to be keeping our eyes on all of these things. Israel is really clamping down on the Palestinians within the Holy Land. And now it appears that that there may be some sort of altercation, if not war, as Iran used the terms war erupts, not just an altercation, but so we're in incredibly crazy times. I did feature this, or I did highlight this in the video that got taken down, and it's worth showing again, in my opinion. This is not a sci-fi movie. This is China, and these are police officers getting ready to go out and enforce testing and isolation and forced removal of people from apartment buildings so they can be changed over into containment centers. And even though we do not know what exactly it is, something's going on in China that we we may not ever know until it's possibly too late. But this is not how coronavirus has been treated. This is something different. I don't know if it's a more deadly and contagious strain. They're reporting deaths. Okay, that's all they're reporting in China. Not the number of infections anymore. Not the number of positive tests. They're just reporting deaths, and they only reported 17 deaths since the start of the year, or since the start of the pandemic in 2019, when COVID-19 was first discovered there in China. Supposedly only 17 people died. So the number is probably closer to 7 million. There are people that are documenting these things, and they're starting to come out, and China just wasn't counting. They were putting down other reasons for people to die so that COVID wasn't an issue, until it's gotten to be such an issue now. What we're seeing here is there's the equivalent of the swastika, the Z. These are artillery units, tanks, heavy weaponry moving out of Mariupol. Why are they moving out? Well, the resistance has held. The Marines and the Azov battalions that are united together underneath the Azovstal plant, the factory with all the tunnels and everything we showed the other night. They've held out. They managed to hold out, and instead of going in and trying to root them out, they're repositioning because they need this equipment in other places, is probably why they're doing it. The other more nefarious reason they're doing it is to get as many of their people out of the way as possible before they use chemicals or a nuclear bomb. Because all that's left basically within Mariupol at the moment are Chechens and mercenaries. Almost all the Russian troops have been pulled back. And this all changed basically in the last 24 hours. We showed you last night the intercepted phone call where the guy said, he was about 400 kilometers, or about 4 kilometers away from where the blast was going to be, where the lieutenant told him the mega blast, the 3,000-pound bombs are going to be dropped. Something's going to be dropped, or something's going to happen in Mariupol, I'm afraid. And that's why you're seeing all of this move out, because they're not going to be necessary anymore after whatever Russia does. And while I'm on it, I had mentioned earlier that it was already Friday. And I said it was Friday in Russia and Friday in Ukraine. And in Russia and Ukraine, the Christians there are members of the Orthodox Church, and it's the same with many Christians in the Holy Land. And the Orthodox Church will celebrate Good Friday tomorrow, and Easter Sunday will be this coming Sunday. So their Holy Week is a week later than Western and Catholic traditions, and it's considered Eastern, the Eastern Orthodox, and possibly as close to actual what was Christianity before religion got a hold of it in a massive way. Don't get me wrong, the Russians are perverting Christianity just like they're perverting everything else, but this coming weekend, they're not going to view it as necessarily a major holy thing in Russia, Good Friday or Easter. So don't discount something incredibly horrendous happening just because it is their Holy Week. I've talked about this before. It's starting to catch on with some other people finally. Not one Republican office holder objecting to Biden's victory have objected to their own wins on the same day, on the same ballots, using the same election system. The My Pillow guy's still trying to overturn the election, and there's some other guy too that's trying to avoid prosecution and trying to come up with Durham, I think, or something like that's his name. If they overturn the election, they overturn the entire election. You don't just overturn the presidential part of it. All the votes were counted by machines in most areas, so you can't just say you cheated in one spot. That's not how those systems work. And if really, seriously, if you thought it was rigged, do you think they would have let this person win? If it was rigged, honestly, if you think it rigged, do you think Marjorie Taylor Greene would have become a congresswoman? Or Lorena Boebert with her 8th grade education? Nothing wrong with only having an 8th grade education, but that's not necessarily the best and brightest, which is what we're supposed to send to Congress. Just something to think about. And while we have Marge up, she's going to be in a hearing coming up in just a few hours, 9:30 in the morning, and I will be monitoring that. I may just broadcast it live. It depends. I'm going to do a little bit of research and see if I can find out how long they anticipate it going on. But she is basically going to come on and say she had nothing to do with anything to do with January 6th. And they're probably going to be playing something like this.
I am very convicted in what we're going to be doing on January 6th, and it's historic, and I feel it's very, very important. On January 6th, if you're able, there are going to be possibly 1 million or more people coming to Washington to be there for this historic event. It's critical for everyone to show up and show the nation who we are. We aren't a people that are going to go quietly into the night. Can't allow this just to be gone, just to let it go.
She'll be on tomorrow morning at 9:30. Again, I said this in the last video. I just kind of have a feeling that something's going to happen, and she's not going to be there. These are Jewish people dancing inside a very holy site to Muslims in the city of Hebron. So it's not just in Jerusalem that things are happening. This is our okay. You thought everything in the world, you thought you've seen all the strange stuff you could see. This is our okay. WTF? Really, seriously? Now, come on. There. And I mean, they got up close to show you that it is real. And so things that you don't necessarily want to see in the middle of the night. And thankfully, the chances of me running across one of those are minimal. And again, I'm thankful for that. I told you earlier that we showed earlier the caravans leaving Mariupol. Putin is hailing Russian liberation of Mariupol after his forces completely destroyed during a 2-month siege. He told the defense minister to block off the Azovstal metallurgy plant where the last Ukrainian troops are holed up so that a fly can't get in. That's, just the fact that those were the words they chose to highlight just kind of is ominous to me. Now, this was a 15-minute conversation with this guy who had a heart attack. He's had 2 heart attacks, since the invasion. And oh, come on. This was a 15-minute conversation. This was an excerpt from a 15-minute video. I'm pulling it up not because I'm going to play the video, because I've already told you what was said, what Putin told him to do. Throughout the entire time, Putin had his hand right here like this. He didn't move his feet. He didn't move his back. His face is all puffy. He looked like he was in incredible pain through the whole thing. The people I watched it with were joking. They were all joking. They're like, "Oh, look, he's got his hand on the trap door button, and any minute, Soji's going to drop through the trap door into the Kremlin Shark Tank." Ha ha ha. And the whole time I'm thinking, man, this dude's in serious pain, and I find that incredibly troubling. But that's just me, okay? And again, it's just something to think about. The Russian military research facility in Terv burnt to the ground, and also this is where the surface-to-air missiles and ballistic missiles were developed. And also about 150 miles away, their major chemical production facility burnt to the ground today. There were people injured in both. And is it a coincidence? Is it sabotage from within? Is it Ukraine? Just things to think about. It's just odd that those 2 major fires would happen on the same day. And yesterday was a crazy day when 3 things happened. Russia test fired a nuclear missile, and the United States government was aware of it, but those of us in open source weren't aware of it. And when it went off, it was a few moments of, this isn't really happening. That's not really that's not really a flare we're seeing from, and thankfully it was a test. So I didn't jump on live. I didn't, talk about it as, anything major, because it turned out not to be major. And then about 3 hours later, we talked about this again a day ago. Taiwan TV comes on and says that China is invading. And then within a couple of minutes, they say, no, it's not. That was a mistake. That should have never got out. And it was like, the second thing that could lead to mass war in one day ends up not being. And then last evening, the United States government evacuated the Capitol because there was an airplane flying towards the Capitol. And it wasn't a jet, it was a smaller plane. and it was an Army plane with Army paratroopers that were going to parachute into the Washington Nationals Major League Baseball park and give the game ball and the American flag and, you know, all of that. And through lack of communication, the Capitol got evacuated because it looked like they were going to be attacked. Again, that concerns me with our communications. If we don't have communications from Andrews Air Force Base just outside of Washington, D.C., to the group protecting the Capitol, it's something that should be questioned instead of swept under the rug. And as we like to do, here's what they're talking about on Russian TV.
У американцев таких ракет нет и никогда не было. Чем привлекателен Южный полюс?
This is the rocket launch I was talking about.
Через Южный полюс, через Северный. У нас только одна цель. Нет, речь идет, конечно, о территории, континентальной территории Соединенных Штатов.
Ну так, на секунду, эта ракета, если окажется там, где, в общем, она могла бы оказаться в худшем случае, способна уничтожить какого рода объекты, какие площади, территории?
Я вам так скажу, что если 7,5 мегатонн будет доставлено на территорию, как говорится, нашего партнера, то...
Слово партнер очень важно.
Да, то такие объекты, как город Нью-Йорк. Хороший город, но его не будет. Вообще. Одной ракеты, конечно. Совсем. Вот слово совсем. Вот. Поэтому лучше не надо. Красивый американцы, город. Кстати, они всегда боялись наших тяжелых ракет.
They're laughing and giggling at the thought of launching a missile into the United States. The missile that we just saw tested is called the Satan 2, Satan 2, and it does have the range to reach the United States. But what it basically is, they've had the range to reach the United States for 50 years. What it basically is their next level of rocket to replace that 50 to 75-year-old Soviet technology that they have. And so I don't know. It was a little saber rattling, of course, to be conducting the test when they did, but nonetheless, they let the United States know about it so that we didn't launch on them. Again, thank you for watching. Those of you that are with me. Got just a couple of more quick stories here. Okay, nope, we're good. All right, we're good. Excellent. Boom. Thank you for watching. Again, this was very impromptu and just wanted to get it out because the last episode's been taken down. I've had a few episodes that have been taken down lately, and one episode that I dissected the QAnon video and showed how Russia propaganda was behind the whole thing and how it was artificial intelligence and how they were promoting violence or fanning the flames of violence. And instead, it got turned around and said that I was fanning the flames of violence by showing the video. So in the video we did earlier, I also dissect about three minutes worth of a QAnon video. So we're going to keep doing that because they are indeed fanning the flames of violence, and it's getting worse. And as we talked about near the beginning of this, what Kevin McCarthy, the tapes that the limited tape we heard, Trump is not going to be happy about that, and it's just going to make him more guilty in the eyes of a whole lot of people, which is going to make him more dangerous, in my opinion. And as we head into the weekends when people have time off, and the weekends when people can gather in larger numbers. So I'll probably be back on here in just a few hours with the Marjorie Taylor Greene hearing. And if not, I'll be doing a report sometime tomorrow. So hit the subscribe, the like, the share, the notification bell if you're watching on YouTube. And otherwise, leave a comment, hit the like, and thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And we will be back very soon, connecting the dots, telling the truth. There are two sides to every story, but there's only one side to a lie. There aren't two sides to a lie. A lie's a lie is a lie. And if you keep hearing lies, the person talking to you is probably a liar. And we expose those kind of things. Somebody said, you're attacking conservatives. I'm not attacking conservatives unless they're fascists or liars. Let them decide amongst themselves who fits into what category. Thanks for watching.